Good morning viewers to the EduSat lecture on Management and Vocational Studies. Today we have with us Dr. Subhash Kakkar, who is a director at a leading institute for management education in Delhi. We have been with Dr. Subhash Kakkar for a series on brand management for the past 5 days, and continuing with it, we have the fifth lecture in this series, and hopefully we will be concluding the exciting world of brand management with Dr. Subhash Kakkar. Now I welcome Dr. Subhash Kakkar to continue with his lecture.
Thank you and welcome viewers. As you know that we have been carrying a series of lectures on marketing management. This week we started with the topic brand management. 4 lectures have already been delivered on this particular topic, and today is going to be the 5th lecture. And hopefully I will be concluding this topic today. For preparing this lecture, I have used my experience, my education. I have consulted a number of books. I have also consulted the material available on internet. And I am thankful to all those people whose material I have consulted for preparing this lecture. Now let's start with the lecture. So far we have covered number of topics, and these topics are brand management introduction. Then we started with subtopic, what is brand? Brand name, brand attributes, brand positioning. After covering all these points, we started with brand identity. Source of brand identity, brand image, brand identity versus customer identity. We also discussed brand identity versus brand image, brand personality, brand awareness. And then we started with a discussion on brand loyalty, brand association, brand promise, building a brand, brand equity and customer equity, brand extension, and topics like co-branding, brand value measurement, brand categories, do brands happen or are they made, what do brands do? All these topics have already been covered, and by now viewers must be clear about the meaning and concept and the use of brand in the market. How this brand is utilized by the marketers to promote the product. And now today we have come up with a fresh list of topics under brand management which we are going to discuss. Brand management, and today's lecture is 5th lecture, and that's why we have called it part 5. And today we are going to discuss the topics like what do brands do? Brand management challenges, changing profile of brand managers, branding in the age of IT and internet, tips for successful brand management. What do brands do? The first topic today which we are going to discuss. As a marketing student, you might wonder if brand building means advertising or that brand building is achieved through advertisements alone. Well, At this juncture, it becomes important to understand that the brand stands for a lot more than just the product and its functional value that it promises to deliver to the customers. Celebrating a brand that has become a cult proves to be a way of life with many communities. Realizing the power of brands over the loyal community of customers, the organizations have nurtured and carefully grown the brands in terms of its reputation as well as its impact. The right impact the brand has in the minds of customers is given by how much loyalty the customer shows with respect to a particular brand. The loyal customers will remain loyal to the brand and will buy the products which are given by that particular brand. And this is achieved through brand building process over the time. It's not a one-day activity. Brand image is built in years. Many successful brands associate themselves and support many social causes as well as promote their social responsibilities. When we look at certain brands, we recall that this particular brand is related to a particular game. It is related to a particular social cause. And this kind of impact is given by the brand, and the customers and the consumers become loyal to that particular brand. It has now become common for the well-known brands to promote sports, cultural or music, as well as charity or research-related events, and associate the brand with the particular field that they are associated with. Sports and branding have a hugely successful partnership. Viewers can cite examples to this effect. Here, the viewers can have a list of brands. They can also list the sports to which these brands are connected. Then they will realize that brands are not only promoting the product, but they are also promoting some cause which is connected with that brand. When you analyze the brands and their associations, one can see that brands have a particular association with some activity, maybe some cultural activity, some sports activity, or some research activity. You will soon realize that the brands stand for a lot many things other than just the logo and visual image. No doubt, the visual image is one of the inbuilt characteristics of the brand, but the brands also convey a perception that is also associated with the image. They have a distinct position as well as value and image, besides having a personality too. So not only image, not only logo is important, but the thing to which the logo is attached is also of importance. Delve a little more into the branding concept and you will find that the brands acquire certain personalities too. What we mean to say is that certain personalities are also attached with the brand, and these personalities are brand ambassadors. A sportsman can be attached to a particular brand, and then that sportsman is an ambassador for that particular brand and for that particular product. What we mean to say is that the brand use well-known personalities as the ambassadors. The personality and the public image of the brand ambassador also contribute to the brand image and popularity. And this is a meaning, what is attached to the brand with respect to the celebrity to which it is attached. the popularity of the celebrity comes into as an aid to promote that particular brand. And that celebrity can be a sportsman or a sportswoman or actor or actress. And these are then ambassadors of that particular brand. Today, every person and its personal product, be it a perfume or a watch, is associated with a well-known personality who represents a brand and helps promote it. Even the automobiles have some celebrity attached to them as brand ambassadors. Here, viewers can visualize all those brands and all those celebrities which are attached to these brands. Then they can understand how these brand ambassadors promote the brands. All in all, the brands communicate a lot of different things to different people. Today, most successful organizations promote their corporate identity or the corporate company brand to retain, sustain, and build their corporate image of the company while continuing with individual brand promotion of their product as well. Here, the corporate identity is being maintained through maintaining a particular brand. In such cases, we see that corporate branding and promotions are trying to communicate a different set of messages to customers, while the product brand promotions convey a totally different messages. Here we are telling the viewers that two different messages are being delivered to the consumers and the customers. The corporate branding tries to cultivate and nurture the corporate identify, values and the image, while at the product level, the branding promotes the product and its value proposition to the target customers. Here, we are talking about three things. The first one is a brand which promotes the product and its values to the audience, to the target audience. And then we are talking about the corporate branding also, which cultivates and nurtures the corporate identity and values, etc., to the audience or the target audience. Understanding of the different types of branding gives us an understanding that the brands carry a certain power which can be termed as perception combined with an image. Besides, the brand also carries many more components and messages that it tries to convey. Here we are telling the viewers that our understanding is that there is a product, there is a brand, and there is a message. Message is not only for the product, message is given through the brand for the product also. It also conveys much more than the product. It gives the values of the organization to which it is attached to the consumers. It also conveys the culture of the organization to which it is attached. So, brand gives a much more meaning to the consumers and the customers. Overall, you will also note that the brands have the power to gain access to and remain in the subconscious mind of the viewers. Here we are telling the viewers that brand remains in the minds and in the hearts of consumers for a long time with some characteristics and some attributes attached to it. More importantly, they use this power to help initiate and strengthen the relationship with the viewers as well as the customers. And brand is a link between the target audience and the organization. It joins the two identities. Customers and consumers feel some sort of attachment with the organization, and more or less the consumer starts feeling as a proud person to get attached with a particular brand. When you start noticing all about brands around, you will realize that there is a design and strategy that goes into building and growing brands for different purposes. This marks the beginning of an interesting journey into the world of brand power for marketing management students. Here I am talking about marketing management students because they are here to learn this particular topic, and this topic is also useful for marketing management executives. Now we will talk about brand management challenges in changing times. Over the years, the marketing has seen a lot of change. The phase of marketing is totally changed now. 10 years back, the marketing concept was different, and now it is totally different. Now the marketing is being done through e-marketing, and consumers come to know regarding the product and the offers being given by the organizations through internet activities. Everything they get on their cell phones also. If anything is created or produced in one corner of the world, it is known to everyone in the world in no time. And this is a change in marketing scene. So we have to see brand management challenges in changing times. Last few decades have changed our world beyond recognition. There has been unprecedented progress in all spheres of life. Technology and scientific advancement has played major role affecting all parts of the economy, politics, as well as markets. Markets are totally changed now. When the change is there, our challenges are also different, and they cover more scope also. One has to be more attentive and careful in meeting those challenges. With globalization and opening of markets, we see a sea of changing in the way business is conducted, and organizations are structured. Global and open markets have changed the structure of consumer economy also. Consumer tastes are different, consumer needs are different, and consumer requirements are different now. The financial mechanisms that aid in trade and consumer buying too have impacted the consumers' buying habits. Online trading and buying, online payments, mobile banking, etc. have empowered the consumers to make their choices and buying decisions at their discretion. Marketers' job has always been very challenging, but the complexities that they face in the market today are different from the earlier times. With markets opening up, the competition from Me Too, brands have increased considerably. Brands face competition from local brands as well as foreign brands and generic products as well. Nowadays we see that mergers and acquisitions are going on, and these are very common nowadays. And because of this acquisition and mergers, culture of the organization is also changing. Values are also changing. There is modification in the values of the organizations. And we know that marketing is also changed. The face of marketing is now totally different. Now we have more means and more different means available to us. And using those means, we save time. And this is a great challenge to the marketing function of any organization because of mergers, because of acquisitions, and because of change in the environment. With brand logo and image being centered to brand, the brand logo, color, and image are designed hold the key to the brand image. As perceived and recalled by the consumers, good brand management call for strengthening and reaffirming this brand image association with consumers at all times. Any slight change in the brand image, be it the color, logo, or image, the consumer loyalty gets affected, resulting in change of buying decision by the consumer. As the consumer perceives an image and associates a pleasant or unpleasant experience with a particular brand, the consumer perception management is a very important part of brand management. So one should not try changing the color of the logo or of the symbol of a brand. If there is a change which will never be accepted by the consumers, they are used to one sort of color, one sort of design. The moment they see a different color, a different design, doubt comes to their mind that this may be a spurious brand. This may be not the exact brand what they are looking for. So the organizations must not try any change in the color of the logo or any change in the style of the logo or the symbol which is given in the brand. So to be clear from the doubts, one should be very careful in projecting the brands of the company. With the changes in the technology and lifestyle, the expectations of the consumers with reference to the brand image too changes. Consumers are likely to expect trendy, stylish, and modern brand images that go with the current trends rather than an outdated logo that is perceived to be old-fashioned. Here we are explaining and telling our viewers that the organizations must change with the time. The old logos must find some change in them so the current consumers who are conversant with the current images must start liking the modified image of the brand. The original brand design can be retained and a slight change can also be introduced slowly so that consumers start accepting the change and then finally starts liking the change. While the brand logos and image have to be modified to suit the latest trends and reach out to the customer, the logos have to retain elements of the old brand components, mainly of colors, image, etc. in modified but familiar pattern so that the consumers continue to recognize and recall the old brand familiarity and image. Here viewers can recall certain colors which are attached to the brands. Certain cricket teams are given a specific color. The moment we see that color, the moment we name that color, we are immediately recalled the team itself and the players attached to them. So, here is the meaning of the color, here is the meaning of the symbol. If we are talking about the change in the logo, change in the brand, we should retain the color. If color is retained, we will not forget the main brand, the parent brand, even though we have introduced a certain change in the brand. So, we can say that over the years, with the change in communication, publishing and electronic media, the advertising and promotion of brands too have had to change and keep up with new trends. So, nowadays we have to see that new trends are important. We must introduce the change to follow the new trends. Traditional mass advertising of brands is no longer prevalent. The concept of personalized and customized advertising to the target customers is in. On one hand, the consumer segment has become highly fragmented and prompts that the brand communication reach out to the consumers at an individual and customized manner. One has to be very careful while projecting the image of any brand so that the consumers remain loyal to the brand. On the other hand, the consumer behavior and expectations too have changed. Consumers expect much more from the brand than ever before. Consumers today are very demanding in terms of their expectations of the product as well as of the brand reputation, image and value, etc. I have already explained to the viewers that consumers get attached to a particular brand. They start feeling proud of getting attached to a particular brand. They become loyal to the brand. They don't want to switch over to any other brand because the brand which they start liking is the best brand available in the market for them. And that brand becomes robust in the eyes of the consumers. So, this is the meaning of the brand and it promotes the product. The well-informed customers of today, having access to electronic media, like to ask for more information, compare with competition and arrive at their decision based on rationalization. The brand communication has to take into account the change in consumers' buying process and position the brand image as well as the communication according to the individual customers. We may pay attention to individual requirements of the customers, and that should be met by the brand what we project. Social media networks provide an interactive platform for the brand managers and consumers to interact with one another. The social media networks are participant driven and the consumers have access to a larger audience to discuss, share, question and voice their opinions. Now it has become very easy for the consumers to communicate with the organization through internet activities, to web activities. Thus, this media provides an exciting as well as challenging platform for brand managers to position their brands, to engage the consumers to get to know the brand, to get the already consumers to influence the others positively and build loyal communication and the communities supporting the brand. Now, we will talk about corporate branding, a discussion. Today, branding as an image building and identity building process has been adopted by virtually every segment of the society. though we are more aware of branding in the products and services sectors, corporate branding as well as branding by different sectors such as supports, NGOs, cultural and religious organizations, including country and regional brand building by nations, can be witnessed in different fields. Branding and image building has become an important exercise for all organizations as well as institutions. So, this is very important exercise and which is prevalent in almost every organization, whether it is NGO or cultural or religious, everywhere it is applicable. As far as the organizations go, brand building has become a strategic move, one that is not owned and crafted by their marketing departments. It is the CEOs and the senior management who own and manage the corporate brand identity. In fact, in some cases, the promoters of the organizations have their own individual brand identity, coupled with having to build and manage their business or corporate identity as well. Now, we can say that corporate brand, not just a brand identity for the organization, it is actually representative of the core values, ethics and the value proposition that the organization stands for in relation to its business and its customers. To a large extent, the corporate brand is also the ambassador of the culture and the value system of the organization and its reputation. Brand value or measure of a corporate brand has to be evaluated in terms of its relevance to the customers, its value proposition to its customers, as well as its value as perceived by the investors as well. The stock market sentiments are perhaps reflectors of the brand image and value of a corporate brand. Here we are telling the viewers that there are certain indicators which tell us the impact the brand has in the market. There are customers, there are consumers, and there is a brand image. And this brand image has an effect, has an impact in the minds of the people. That is reflected in the share prices. That is reflected in the movement in the share market. So, if such is the case, brand has very good impact on the market. As far as the investors are concerned, they measure the company's performance in terms of brand value. Two, besides the balance sheet performance, industry experts have created models to measure the brand equity of an organization as well as to measure the brand value in the eyes of investors, etc. Maintaining the core brand value, the brand image lies with the management of the organization. Creating and delivering the brand value experience is an activity that encompasses the entire organization, including all business processes and employees of the organization. It is being said that this process covers almost every process available in the organization. In the changing market environment, the customer perceptions and requirements keep changing as well. The corporate branding has got to be managed, keeping in line with the new developments as well. There has got to be continuous enhancement of value offering by the corporate brand, keeping in line with the changing markets and consumer perceptions. Take the case of first computer company. Now the viewers can visualize in their minds the best computer company which they remember as an example. So, take the case of first computer company. the corporate brand image took a beating for some time when the company, which was a leader in its industry segment, lost touch with the changing environment and failed to keep up with changing needs. Here the viewers can cite two exclusive examples, one from the international market and another from the local market, and these two were giant companies in the computer field. But they didn't change with the environment, they didn't change with the change in the environment, and they lost the business and the failure in the market. So one has to be very careful, one has to walk along with the changing environment, do activities as per the changed environment. If such is the case, the company will progress, otherwise the company will face failure. It took a while for the organization to realize its mistake. I am again talking about those two computer companies, one from international market and one from the local market, and these two companies face failure. It took a while for the organization to realize its mistake and make the required changes to divest certain businesses and strengthen their focus on the key business segment, and once again rise to the challenge of becoming leader in its segment. Though the corporate brand did take a beating, the brand image and values certainly helped the organization charter its course and make that course correction without losing its reputation in the market. So we can say that today's consumers and customers are highly attentive to the market changes. Today, consumers and customers are highly aware and make their informed choice. To be able to build customer loyalty and sustain the leadership position in the long run, the organization has got to work on its corporate brand value and deliver superior brand experience at all times. The brand experience which we are talking about is a mixture of real-time experience, that is the outcome of interaction with the customer, as well as his perception of the brand experience, which is cumulative impression of his past and present experience, knowledge, as well as the perception of the organizational value and reputation. Now we will talk about changing profile of brand managers. Walk into any supermarket and look at some of the shelves, especially the food and groceries. You will be amazed to see not only the variety of items, but the numerous brands as well as generic products that are available in each category. Now the grocery shelves in the supermarket are full of different variants of any product. Why? Because every organization, every company wants to increase its market share. That's why they are introducing different variants of the products in the market. And these products in different variants are liked by different segments of the audience, and that's why the market share improves. Decision making for a consumer is quite a problem. When we see a number of variants of a product, it becomes very difficult to decide on a particular variant. This is what is being said in this slide also. Decision making for a consumer is quite a problem, leaving him perplexed, mesmerized also in some cases. Many cases, the number of brands on the shelf can successfully drive the consumer to choose the cheapest available brand or pick a generic product and thus get over with the decision making. This is true of all the FMCG brands in the market today. When the competition is intense and aggressive, managing the brand is definitely a challenge for the brand managers. Unlike earlier years, unlike in the past, the profile of the brand manager's job has changed and evolved with the changing times. The brand managers are responsible for the total business and are required to ensure they maintain a healthy return on investment. Now we say that our brand managers also contribute to the return on investment, ROI of the company, because they fetch the business, they sell the product, and they are responsible for collecting the revenue for the company. The brand value and brand equity have made the organization as well as the share prices quite sensitive to brand image and brand management. Now we see that share prices are also very sensitive to the brand image. The market share is also very sensitive to the brand image. So one has to be very careful as a brand manager to project the brand in the market. Managing the brand, its growth, market share, profitability, as well as maintaining the image, as well as the value proposition in the short term, as well as long term, is the challenge that is faced by the brand managers in today's life. Technological changes and competitive nature of open markets and globalization have altered the game of brand management and consumer behavior. Now the consumer behavior is also changing because of brand management. The marketing people, brand managers, can mold the consumer behavior as they want through projecting the brand. The brand managers are under pressure to evolve strategies that can create product differentiation, address the consumers, and provide them with the increased value proposition at all times. And this is a challenge to be met by today's brand managers. Today's brand managers' job demand a variety of skill sets needed to manage the challenging environment. The skill sets which were being used in the past are no longer enough. We require much more than that, and skill requirements are changing for the brand managers. Besides the changes in market environment, technology, and resultant changes in the supply chain mechanism, the consumer behavior as well as expectations are changing. Economic environment has a major impact on the brands as well as on the consumer behavior. So we are now telling the viewers that the consumer behavior is being changed through introduction of brand, and this job has become very challenging for brand managers because now they are to mold the consumer behavior to match their requirements. And through brand managing, any impending economic crisis or rise in inflation globally as well as nationally sets of conservative move on the part of the consumers who begin to tighten their purse, postpone their purchase, or move away from a particular brand to look for cheaper alternatives. Nowadays, the consumers have become more intelligent because of available information through internet. This information they get without any waste of time, and then they compare the products and the brands and their prices also and the attributes which they are looking for in the product, and they take a decision on purchasing the product, what they like. So the job of the brand manager has become more difficult. The brand managers are to visualize the consumer behavior every time, and then they are to suit the product what they are going to buy. If such is the case, brand managers' job is very challenging. Changes in the financial sector, including consumer financing, credit card, borrowing, also impacts the brand movements in all markets. Technology, current social trends, urban lifestyle, as well as electronic media, etc., can make or break the brands in the market. Now we can say that the brand managers have got to be fully conversant with and aware of the developments or changes happening in the various fields and external environment, as well as be able to move quickly with decisions and plans for furthering their brands amidst the challenges. Brand management is no longer a single individual function. It's not a standalone function. It is combined with other functional areas also. The dynamics of brand management as well as the changes in the profile of brand management encompassing ROI and bottom line contribution of the brand to the balance sheet calls for cross-functional teams to work together to manage a brand category. Here we are telling our viewers that managing a brand is no longer a standalone function. We require to have cross-functional teams. We are to have representatives from all the functional areas so that our brand is managed effectively and properly. Brand has an impact on the consumers so that they buy our product time and again and they increase the market share. Large brand oriented FMCG organizations and global multinational organizations have suitably changed the structure of the organization to bring in functional, multidisciplinary, and metrics form of organizational structure for brand management. Now we'll talk about branding in the age of IT and internet, information technology and the internet, what sort of impact they have on the branding. The emerging millennial consumers and ways of reaching out to them. With the advent of the internet and the mobile-driven browsing, marketers all over the world are realizing and recognizing the importance of using the online medium for branding their products. Nowadays, we find that people are using, both consumers and the suppliers of the products are using internet to reach each other. Any requirement is passed on to the manufacturer through internet. Any new features introduced in the product by the manufacturer are passed on to the consumers through internet. And then in no time, all over the world, the new product and its features reach to consumers and the customers. And the customers can decide what sort of features they were wanting and whether they want to buy the product or not. The new generation of consumers, and especially the millennial, are those born after the late 1970s, and especially those born in the 1990s and later have a propensity to transact online, which means that marketers and companies do need to brand their products in the virtual world if they are to target this demographic. and this demographic can be with respect to the area, age, qualification, etc. Further, with the advent of smartphones and their widespread usage by the millennial, branding of products online and in the mobile world is no longer a luxury but a necessity owing to the changing shopping habits of the emerging consumers. Now it has become the necessity of everyone to own a mobile because the activities which are possible on the smartphones cannot be done manually. And if these are done manually, it takes a lot of time, and then the importance of that particular job is lost when the time is taken too much. This is the reason why many brands are being marketed aggressively in the online realm so that they do not miss the consumer base. For instance, brands which have long had a significant outdoor and print media driven branding strategy have now jumped into the online branding effort as a means of reaching out to this consumer base. Some examples of brands that migrated to the virtual world. Now, viewers can understand themselves. They should think of some examples where traditional method was changed to the modern method of online business. They will come across a number of such examples where companies were successful in their endeavors in shifting to online business. Of course, it can be said that these brands appeal to the youth and hence they need to market themselves online. However, the fact that traditional and established brands are also branding themselves online because many working women and career professionals now do their entire shopping online. They don't want to waste their time in going to the markets and in going to the shops. Even they don't want to go to the malls also because a lot of time is wasted. Everyone now likes to buy the products online to save time. Online marketing is a double-edged sword. Marketing online is a double-edged sword, as not only does news travel fast on the online realm, but also facts are given a go-by in the rush to be the first tweet or to post on Facebook. For instance, when a product or a brand being subjected to negative publicity, which might be factual or otherwise, nonetheless, the news travel fast on the virtual world, leading to loss of brand equity. And this is the impact of virtual world online business. Any negative comment is passed on to almost all the consumers in the world through online business. Further, the marketers cannot control the flow of information in a medium that is essentially driven by the crowd and the swarm, and hence marketers have to be alert to what is being said and written about their brands. So one has to take care while promoting the products online because the negative things are rumored without taking any time. And this becomes a great loss to the organization if it is not a fact. Apart from this, marketing on the internet and the smartphones is subject to another aspect known as swarm intelligence or the wisdom of crowds, meaning that herd behavior is common among consumers. And the people and the consumer starts obeying the herd. They follow the herd. So this is again a negative aspect of online business. Concluding thoughts now. Therefore, once a brand reaches a critical mass of consumers, then it is easy for marketers to break into the consumer base because the swarm or the crowd ensures that the brand is given publicity. The early adopters and the opinion makers, through their reviews, ensure that new consumers who are hesitant to try out the product are also encouraged to do the same. Of course, as mentioned earlier, this has a negative effect as well as, and this is the case where negative publicity can travel as fast as the good news. Indeed, branding on the virtual world is both an opportunity as well as a danger, and marketers need to be aware of these two effects and they should behave accordingly. Now, we will give some tips for successful brand management to our viewers, and these tips are: the internet has changed the way that companies present themselves to the masses, whether or not they actually have web properties to manage. Every time a company does something bad, it seems to find its way online. Managing perception among internet users is nearly impossible because once something gets out, it has a tendency to spread like wildfire. Letting followers do the talking. This is a very good method. Generating regular content for web properties is difficult. Coming up with new things to say on a consistent basis is harder than it looks. Rather than force out updates, the following that a web property garners can do all the talking. Word of mouth advertising is one of the most effective ways to promote a company, good or bad. Let them say that, what they have to say. Positive feedback in this arena can do more for a business than pretty much anything. So, unifying web properties. Since there are so many ways for a company to present its message, it's natural for companies to have multiple properties on different websites. Clients and customers should get a consistent message no matter what property they visit. All of the properties should also feed into each other in an effort to increase their growth. The demands of the audience for each web property are different and the content should reflect that. Interacting with customers. It makes no sense for a company to have a web presence and never use it as a means of opening up the lines of communication with customers. Here, viewers are being advised that if a company has a website, the company must make a use of website so that it reaches its customers and the consumers. Some companies even disable the ability of their customers to send messages on Facebook. So, viewers, today we discussed the concluding part of our lecture on brand management. If I am able to convey what I wanted to convey to the viewers and the viewers are able to understand properly, I will feel amply awarded. Thank you so much, viewers.
We would like to thank Dr. Subhash Kakkar for the very informative talk, and I hope his tips for the upcoming and aspiring brand managers for the contemporary and future markets, and with the capacity of being flexible by the internet and the loads of information available from the manufacturers as well as global brands, I hope the brand managers would now evolve their game. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.